10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, negative 6, negative 7, negative 8, negative 9, negative 10, negative 11, negative 12, negative 13, negative 14, negative 15, negative 16, negative 17, negative 18, negative 19, negative 20, negative 21, negative 22, negative 23, negative 24, negative 25, negative 26, negative 27, negative 28, negative 29, negative 30, negative 31, negative 32, negative 33, negative 34, negative 35, negative 36, negative 37, negative 38, negative 39, negative 40, negative 41, negative 42, negative 43, negative 44, negative 45, negative 46, negative 47, negative 48, negative 49, negative 50, negative 51, negative 52, negative 53, negative 54, negative 55, negative 56, negative 57, negative 58, negative 59, negative 60, negative 61, negative 62, negative 63, negative 64, negative 65, negative 66, negative 67, negative 68, negative 69, negative 70, negative 71, negative 72, negative 73, negative 74, negative 75, negative 76, negative 77, negative 78, negative 79, negative 80, negative 81, negative 82, negative 83, negative 84, negative 85, negative 86, negative 87, negative 88, negative 89, negative 90, negative 91, negative 92, negative 93, negative 94, negative 95, negative 96, negative 97, negative 98, negative 99, negative 100, negative 101, negative 102, negative 103, negative 104, negative 105, negative 106, negative 107, negative 108, negative 109, negative 110, negative 111, negative 112, negative 113, negative 114, negative 115, negative 116, negative 117, negative 118, negative 119, negative 120, negative 121, negative 122, negative 123, negative 124, negative 125, negative 126, negative 127, negative 128, negative 129, 130, negative 131, negative 132, negative 133, negative 134, negative 135, negative 136, negative 137, 100 negative 38, 100 negative 39, 140, negative 140, negative 141, negative 142, negative 143, negative 144, negative 145, negative 146, negative 147, negative 148, negative 149, negative 150, negative 151, negative 152, negative 153, negative 154, negative 155, negative 156, negative 157, negative 158, negative 159, negative 160, negative 161, negative 162, negative 163, negative 164, negative 165, 166, negative 167, negative 168, 106, negative 169, negative 170, negative 171, negative 172, negative 173, negative 174, negative 175, negative 176, negative 177, negative 178, negative 179, 180, 181, 182, 183, 184, 185, 186, 187, 188, 189, 190, negative 190, negative 191, negative 192, negative 193, negative 194, negative 195, negative 196, negative 197, negative 198, 100, negative 99, 200, 201, 202, 203, 204, 205, 200, negative 201, negative 202, negative 203, negative 204, negative 205, negative 206, negative 207, negative 208, negative 209, negative 210, negative 211, negative 212, negative 213, negative 214, negative 215, negative 216, negative 217, negative 218, negative 219, negative 220, negative 221, negative 222, negative 223, negative 224, negative 225, negative 226, negative 227, negative 228, negative 229, negative 230, negative 131, negative 100 or 232, negative 233, negative 234, negative 235, negative 236, negative 237, negative 238, negative 239, negative 240, negative 241, negative 242, negative 243, negative 244, negative 245, negative 246, negative 247, negative 248, negative 249, negative 250, negative 251, negative 252, negative 253, negative 254, negative 255, negative 256, negative 257, negative 258, negative 259, negative 260, negative 261, negative 262, negative 263, negative 264, negative 265, negative 266, negative 267, negative 200 to negative 268, negative 269, negative 270, negative 271, negative 272, negative 273, negative 274, negative 275, negative 276, negative 277, negative 278, negative 279, negative 280, negative 281, negative 282, negative 283, negative 284, negative 285, negative 286, negative 287, negative 288, negative 289, negative 290, negative 291, negative 292, negative 293, negative 294, negative 295, negative 296, negative 297, negative 298, negative 290, negative 300, negative 301, negative 300, negative 302, negative 303, negative 304, negative 305, negative 306, negative 307,
You said the end
negative 308, negative 309, negative
That's
310,
It's
negative 311, negative 312, negative 313, negative 314, negative 315, negative 316, negative 317, negative 318, negative 319, negative 320, negative 321, negative 322, negative 323, negative 324, negative 325, negative 326, negative 327, negative 328, negative 329, negative 330, negative 331, negative 332, negative 333, negative 334, negative 335, negative 336, negative 337, negative 338, negative 339, negative 339, negative 340, negative 341, negative 342, negative 343, negative 344, negative 345, negative 346, negative 347, negative 348, negative 349, negative 350, negative 351, negative 352, negative 353, negative 354, negative 355, negative 356, negative 357, negative 358, negative 359, negative 360, negative 361, negative 362, negative 363, negative 364, negative 365, negative 366, negative 337, negative 368, negative 369, negative 370, negative 371, negative 372, negative 373, negative 374, negative 375, negative 376, negative 377, negative 378, negative 379, negative 380, negative 381, negative 382, negative 383, negative 384, negative 385, negative 386, negative 387, negative 388, negative 389, negative 390, negative 391, negative 392, negative 393, negative 394, negative 395, negative 396, negative 397, negative 398, negative 398, negative 399, negative 400, negative 401, negative 402, negative 403, negative 404, negative 405, negative 406, negative 407, negative 408, negative 409, negative 410, negative 411, negative 412, negative 413, negative 414, negative 415, negative 416, negative 417, negative 418, negative 419, negative 420, negative 421, negative 422, negative 423, negative 424, negative 425, negative 426, negative 427, negative 428, negative 429, negative 430, negative 431, negative 432, negative 433, negative 434, negative 435, negative 436, negative 437, negative 438, negative 439, negative 440, negative 441, negative 442, negative 443, negative 444, negative 445, negative 446, negative 447, negative 448, negative 449, negative 450, negative 451, negative 452, negative 453, negative 454, negative 455, negative 456, negative 457, negative 458, negative 459, negative 460, negative 461, negative 462, negative 463, negative 464, negative 465, negative 466, negative 467, negative 468, negative 469, negative 470, negative 471, negative 472, negative 473, negative 474, negative 475, negative 476, negative 477, negative 478, negative 479, negative 480, negative 481, negative 482, negative 483, negative 484, negative 485, negative 486, negative 487, negative 488, negative 489, negative 490, negative 491, negative 492, negative 493, negative 494, negative 495, negative 496, negative 497, negative 498, negative 499, negative 500, negative 501, negative 502, negative 503, negative 504, negative 505, negative 506, negative 507, negative 508, negative 509, negative 510, negative 511, negative 512, negative 513, negative 514, negative 515, negative 516, negative 517, negative 518, negative 519, negative 520, negative 521, negative 522, negative 523, negative 524, negative 525, negative 526, negative 527, negative 528, negative 529, negative 530, negative 531, negative 532, negative 533, negative 534, negative 535, negative 536, negative 537, negative 538, negative 539, negative 540, negative 541, negative 542, negative 543, negative 544, negative 545, negative 546, negative 547, negative 548, negative 549, negative 550, negative 551, negative 552, negative 553, negative 554, negative 555, negative 556, negative 557, negative 558, negative 559, negative 560, negative 561, negative 562, negative 563, negative 564, negative 565, negative 566, negative 567, negative 568, negative 569, negative 570, negative 571, negative 572, negative 573, negative 574, negative 575, negative 576, negative 577, negative 578, negative 579, negative 580, negative 581, negative 582, negative 583, negative 584, negative 585, 900, negative 586, negative 587, negative 588, negative 589, negative 590, negative 591, negative 592, negative 593, negative 594, negative 595, negative 596, negative 597, negative 598, negative 599, negative 600, negative 601, negative 602, negative 603, negative 604, negative 605, negative 606, negative 607, negative 608, negative 609, negative 610, negative 611, negative 612, negative 613, negative 614, negative 615, negative 616, negative 617, negative 618, negative 619, negative 620, negative 621, negative 622, negative 623, negative 624, negative 625, negative 626, negative 627, negative 628, negative 629, negative 630, negative 631, negative 632, negative 633, negative 634, negative 635, negative 636, negative 637, negative 638, negative 639, negative 640, negative 641, negative 642, negative 643, negative 644, negative 645, negative 400, negative 646, negative 647, negative 648, negative 649, negative 650, negative 651, negative 652, negative 653, negative 654, negative 655, negative 656, negative 657, negative 658, negative 659, negative 660, negative 661, negative 662, negative 663, negative 664, negative 665, negative 666, negative 667, negative 668, negative 669, negative 670, negative 671, negative 672, negative 673, negative 674, negative 675, negative 676, negative 677, negative 678, negative 679, negative 680, negative 681, negative 682, negative 683, negative 684, negative 685, negative 686, negative 687, negative 688, negative 689, negative 690, negative 691, negative 692, negative 693, negative 694, negative 695, negative 696, negative 697, negative 698, negative 699, negative 700, negative 701, negative 702, negative 703, negative 704, negative 705, negative 706, negative 707, negative 708, negative 709, negative 710, negative 711, negative 712, negative 713, negative 714, negative 715, negative 716, negative 17, negative 716, negative 717, negative 718, negative 719, negative 720, negative 721, negative 722, negative 723, negative 724, negative 725, negative 726, negative 727, negative 728, negative 729, negative 730, negative 731, negative 732, negative 733, negative 734, negative 735, negative 636, negative 737, negative 738, negative 739, negative 740, negative 741, negative 742, negative 743, negative 744, negative 745, negative 746, negative 747, negative 748, negative 749, negative 750, negative 751, negative 752, negative 753, negative 754, negative 755, negative 756, negative 757, negative 758, negative 759, negative 760, negative 761, negative 762, negative 763, negative 764, negative 765, negative 766, negative 767, negative 768, negative 769, negative 770, negative 771, negative 772, negative 773, negative 774, negative 775, negative 776, negative 777, negative 778, negative 779, negative 780, negative 781, negative 782, negative 783, negative 784, negative 785, negative 786, negative 787, negative 788, negative 789, negative 790, negative 791, negative 792, negative 793, negative 794, negative 795, negative 796, negative 797, negative 798, negative 799, negative 800, negative 801, negative 802, negative 803, negative 804, negative 805, negative 806, negative 807, negative 808, negative 809, negative 810, negative 811, negative 812, negative 813, negative 814, negative 815, negative 816, negative 817, negative 818, negative 819, negative 820, negative 821, negative 822, negative 823, negative 824, negative 825, negative 826, negative 827, negative 828, negative 829, negative 830, negative 831,
Start another episode.
negative 832, negative 833, negative 834,
half an hour.
negative 835, negative 836, negative 837, negative 838, negative 839, negative 840, negative 841, negative 842, negative 843, negative 844, negative 845, negative 846, negative 847, negative 848, negative 849, negative 850, negative 851, negative 852, negative 853, negative 854, negative 855, negative 856, negative 857, negative 858, negative 859, negative 860, negative 861, negative 862, negative 863, negative 864, negative 865, negative 866, negative 867, negative 868, negative 869, negative 870, negative 871, negative 872, negative 873, negative 874, negative 875, negative 876, negative 877, negative 878, negative 879, negative 880, negative 881, negative 882, negative 883, negative 884, negative 885, negative 886, negative 887, negative 888, negative 889, negative 890, negative 891, negative 892, negative 893, negative 894, negative 895, negative 896, negative 897, negative 898, negative 899, negative 900, negative 901, negative 902, negative 903, negative 904, negative 905, negative 906, negative 907, negative 908, negative 909, negative 910, negative 911, negative 912, negative 913, negative 914, negative 915, negative 516, negative 917, negative 918, negative 919, negative 920, negative 921, negative 922, negative 923, negative 924, negative 925, negative 926, negative 927, negative 928, negative 929, negative 930, negative 931, negative 932, negative 933, negative 934, negative 935, negative 936, negative 937, negative 938, negative 939, negative 940, negative 941, negative 942, negative 943, negative 944, negative 945, negative 946, negative 947, negative 948, negative 949, negative 950, negative 951, negative 952, negative 953, negative 954, negative 955, negative 956, negative 957, negative 958, negative 959, negative 960, negative 961, negative 962, negative 963, negative 964, negative 965, negative 966, negative 967, negative 968, negative 969, negative 970, negative 971, negative 972, negative 973, negative 974, negative 975, negative 976, negative 977, negative 978, negative 979,
I'm gonna calculate
negative
this fucking, like,
980,
cherry-looking scene right now.
negative 981, negative
Looking at
982,
cherry so hard.
negative
It's
983,
pretty hot.
negative 984,
Oh, the
negative
cherry's not hot.
985, negative
Big
986, negative 987, negative 988, negative 989, negative
I was
990,
picking up from the floor.
negative 991, negative 992,
He's just Groon size.
negative 993, negative 994, negative 995, negative 996, negative 997, negative 998, negative 999, negative 1000, negative 1001, negative 1002, negative 1003, negative 1004, negative 1005, negative 1006, negative 1007, negative 1008, negative 1009, negative 1010, negative 1011, negative 1012, negative 1013, negative 1014, negative 1015, negative 1016, negative 1017, negative 1018, negative 1019, negative 1020, negative 1021, negative 1022, negative 1023, negative 1024, negative 1025, negative 1026, negative 1027, negative 1028, negative 1029, negative 130, negative 1030, negative 1031, negative 1032, negative 1033, negative 1034, negative 1035, negative 1036, negative 1037, negative 1038, negative 1039, negative 1040, negative 1041, negative 1042, negative 1043, negative 1044, negative 1045, negative 1046, negative 1047, negative 1048, negative 1049, negative 1050, negative 1051, negative 1052, negative 1053, negative 1054, negative 1055, negative 1056, negative 1057, negative 1058, negative 1059, negative 1060, negative 1061, negative 1062, negative 1063, negative 1064, negative 1065, negative 1066, negative 1067, negative 1068, negative 1069, negative 1070, negative 1071, negative 1072, negative 1073, negative 1074, negative 1075, negative 1076, negative 1077, negative 1078, negative 1079, negative 1080, negative 1089, negative 1082, negative 1083, negative 1084, negative 1085, negative 1086, negative 1087, negative 1088, negative 1089, negative 1090, negative 1091, negative 1092, negative 1093, negative 1094, negative 1095, negative 1096, negative 1097, negative 1098, negative 1099, negative 1100, negative 1101, negative 1102, negative 1103, negative 1104, negative 1105, negative 1106, negative 1107, negative 1108, negative 1109, negative 1110, negative 1111, negative 1112, negative 1113, negative 1114, negative 1115, negative 1116, negative 1117, negative 1118, negative 1119, negative 1120, negative 1121, negative 1122, negative 1123, negative 1124, negative 1125, negative 1126, negative 1127, negative 1128, negative 100, negative 1129, negative 1130, negative 100, 1131, negative 1132, negative 1133, negative 100, 1134, negative 1135, negative 1136, negative 1137, negative 1138, negative 100, 1139, negative 1140, negative 1141, negative 1142, negative 1143, negative 1144, negative 1145, negative 1146, negative 1147, negative 1148, negative 1149, negative 1150, negative 1151, negative 1152, negative 1153, negative 1154, negative 1155, negative 1156, negative 1157, negative 1,158, negative 1,159, negative 1,160, negative 1,161, negative 1,162, negative 1,163, negative 1,164, negative 1,165, negative 1,166, negative 1,167, negative 1,168, negative 1,169, negative 1,170, negative 1,171, negative 1,172, negative 1,173, negative 1,174, negative 1,175, negative 1,176, negative 1,177, negative 1,178, negative 1,179, negative 1,180, negative 1,181, negative 1,182, negative 1,183, negative 1,184, negative 1,185, negative 1,186, negative 1,187, negative 1,188, negative 1,189, negative 1,190, negative 1,191, negative 1,192, negative 1,193, negative 1,194, negative 1,195, negative 1,196, negative 1,197, negative 1,198, negative 1,199, negative 1,200, negative 1,201, negative 1,202, negative 1,202, negative 1,203, negative 1,204, negative 1,205, negative 1,206, negative 1,207, negative 1,208, negative 1,209, negative 1,210, negative 1,211, negative 1,212, negative 1,213, negative 1,214, negative 1,215, negative 1,216, negative 1,217, negative 1,218, negative 1,219, negative 1,220, negative 1,221, negative 1,222, negative 1,223, negative 1,224, negative 1,225, negative 1,226, negative 1,227, negative 1,228, negative 1,229, negative 1,230, negative 1,231, negative 1,232, negative 1,233, negative 1,234, negative 1,235, negative 1,236, negative 1,237, negative 1,238, negative 1,239, negative 1,240, negative 1,241, negative 1,242, negative 1,243, negative 1,244, negative 1,245, negative 1,246, negative 1,247, negative 1,248, negative 1,249, negative 1,250, negative 1,251, negative 1,252, negative 1,253, negative 1,254, negative 1,255, negative 1,256, negative 1,257, negative 1,258, negative 1,259,
Yeah, he's on his
negative
feet. He's still awake.
1,260,
Oh,
negative
Max, we have a surprise for you.
1,261,
Where's
negative
my thank you?
1,262,
Max, where's my
negative 1,263, negative 1,263, negative 1,264, negative 1,265,
The real question is
negative
why am I still here?
1,266, negative 1,267, negative 1,268, negative 1,269, negative 1,270, negative 1,271, negative 1,272, negative 1,273, negative 1,274, negative 1,275, negative 1,276, negative 1,277, negative 1,278, negative 1,279, negative 1,280, negative 1,281, negative 1,282, negative 1,283, negative 1,284, negative 1,285, negative 1,286, negative 1,287, negative 1,288, negative 1,289, negative 1,290, negative 1,291, negative 1,292, negative 1,293, negative 1,294, negative 1,295, negative 1,296, negative 1,297, negative 1,298, negative 1,299, negative 1,300, negative 1,301, negative 1,302, negative 1,303, negative 1,304, negative 1,305, negative 1,306, negative 1,307, negative 1,308, negative 1,309, negative 1,310, negative 1,311, negative 1,312, negative 1,313, negative 1,314, negative 1,315, negative 1,316, negative 1,317, negative 1,318, negative 1,319, negative 1,320, negative 1,321, negative 1,322, negative 1,323, negative 1,324, negative 1,325, negative 1,326, negative 1,327, negative 1,328, negative 1,329, negative 1,330, negative 1,331, negative 1,332, 1,300, negative 1,333, negative 1,334, negative 1,335, negative 1,336, negative 1,137, 337, negative 1,337, negative 1,338, negative 1,339, negative 1,340, negative 1,341, negative 1,342, negative 1,343, negative 1,344, negative 1,345, negative 1,346, negative 1,347, negative 1,348, negative 1,349, negative 1,350,
There's a thing that pops up saying Max.
negative
and autistic
1,351,
journey. I'm choosing
negative
that. It's an
1,352,
RPG.
Negative 1,353. Negative 1,354. Negative 1,355. Negative 1,356. Negative 1,357. Negative 1,358. Negative 1,359. Negative 1,360. Negative 1,361. Negative 1,362. Negative 1,363. Negative 1,364. Negative 1,365. Negative 1,366. Negative 1,367. Negative 1,368. Negative 1,369. Negative 1,370. Negative 1,371. Negative 1,372. Negative 1,373. Negative 1,374. Negative 1,375. Negative 1,376. Negative 1,377. Negative 1,378. Negative 1,379. Negative 1,380. Negative 1,381. Negative 1,382. Negative 1,383. Negative 1,384. Negative 1,385. Negative 1,386. Negative 1,387. Negative 1,388. Negative 1,389. Negative 1,390. Negative 1,391. Negative 1,392. Negative 1,393. Negative 1,394. Negative 1,395. Negative 1,396. Negative 1,397. Negative 1,398. Negative 1,399. Negative 1,400. Negative 1,401. Negative 1,402. Negative 1,403. Negative 1,404. Negative 1,405. Negative 1,406. Negative 1,407. Negative 1,408. Negative 1,409. Negative 1,410. Negative 1,411. Negative 1,412. Negative 1,413. Negative 1,414. Negative 1,415. Negative 1,416. Negative 1,417. Negative 1,418. Negative 1,100. Negative 1,419. Negative 1,420. Negative 1,421. Negative 1,422. Negative 1,423. Negative 1,424. Negative 1,425. Negative 1,426. Negative 1,427. Negative 1,428. Negative 1,429. Negative 1,430. Negative 1,431. Negative 1,432. Negative 1,433. Negative 1,434. Negative 1,435. Negative 1,436. Negative 1,437. Negative 1,438. Negative 1,439. Negative 1,440. Negative 1,441. Negative 1,442. Negative 1,443. Negative 1,444. Negative 1,445. Negative 4,400. Negative 1,445. Negative 1,446. Negative 1,447. Negative 1,448. Negative 1,449. Negative 1,450. negative 1,451, negative 1,452, negative 1,453, negative 1,454, negative 1,455, negative 1,456, negative 1,457, negative 1,458,
People are leaving.
negative 1,459, negative 1,460, negative 1,461, negative 1,462, negative 1,463, negative 1,464, negative 1,465, negative 1,466, negative 1,467, negative 1,468, negative 1,469, negative 1,470, negative 1,471,
Dude, my toenails
negative
are too
1,472,
like 3 inches.
negative 1,473,
I'm gonna go cut my toenail.
negative
Grab a nail clipper,
1,474,
I'll be back.
negative 1,475, negative 1,476, negative 1,477, negative 1,478, negative 1,479, negative 1,480, negative 1,481, negative 1,482, negative 1,483, negative 1,484, negative 1,485, negative 1,486, negative 1,487, negative 1,488, negative 1,489, negative 1,490, negative 1,491, negative 1,492, negative 1,493, negative 1,494, negative 1,495, negative 1,496, negative 1,497, negative 1,498, negative 1,499, negative 1,500, negative 1,501, negative 1,502,
You're cutting my
negative
toenail right now.
1,503, negative 1,504, negative
just stream me cutting my
1,505, negative
Oh, I can do that.
1,506,
Yeah, can I stream my
negative
phone?
1,507, negative 1,508, negative 1,509, negative
I'll just cut myself.
1,510, negative 1,511, negative 1,512, negative 1,513, negative 1,514, negative 1,515, negative 1,516, negative 1,517, negative 1,518, negative 1,519, negative
Oh, I can't stream on my
1,520,
phone.
negative 5,520, 1,005, negative 1,521, negative 1,522, negative 1,523, negative 1,524, negative 1,525, negative 1,526, negative 1,527, negative
Max, it's been an hour, by
1,528,
the way.
negative 1,529, negative 1,530, negative 1,531, negative 1,532, negative 1,533, negative 1,534, negative 1,535, 1,530, 1,536,
I'm now up to 17.
1,537, 1,538, 1,539, 1,540, 1,541, 1,542, 1,543, 1,544, 1,545, 1,546, negative 1,447, negative 1,548, negative 1,549, negative 1,550, negative 1,551, negative 1,552, negative 1,553, negative 1,554, negative 1,555, negative 1,556, negative 1,557,
Tono just cut off his
negative 1,558, negative 1,559, negative 1,560, negative 1,561, negative 1,562, negative 1,563, negative 1,564, negative 1,565, negative 1,566, negative 1,567, negative 1,568, negative 1,569, negative 1,570, negative 1,571, negative 1,572, negative 1,573, negative 1,574, negative 1,575, negative 1,576, negative 1,577, negative 1,578, negative 1,579, negative 1,580,
Max, I'm bleeding.
negative 1,581, negative 1,582, negative 1,583, negative 1,584, negative 1,585, negative 1,586, negative 1,587, negative 1,588, negative 1,589, negative 1,590, negative 1,591, negative 1,592, negative 1,593, negative 1,594, negative 1,595, negative 1,596, negative 1,597, negative 1,598, negative 1,599, negative 1,600, negative 1,601, negative 1,602, negative 1,603, negative 1,604, negative 1,605, negative 1,606, negative 1,607, negative 1,608, negative 1,609, negative 1,610,
of the way to beating Mr. Beast.
negative 1,611,
A really good grade.
negative 1,612,
Like a
negative 1,613, negative 1,614, negative 1,615, negative 1,616, negative 1,617, negative 1,618, negative 1,619, negative 1,620, negative 1,621, negative 1,622, negative 1,623, negative 1,624, negative 1,625, negative 1,626, negative 1,627, negative 1,628, negative 1,629, negative 1,630, 30, negative 1,630, negative 1,631, negative 1,632, negative 1,633, negative 1,634, negative 1,635, negative 1,636, negative 1,637, negative 1,638, negative 1,639, negative 1,640, negative 1,641, negative 1,642, negative 1,643, negative 1,644, negative 1,645, negative 1,646, negative 1,647, negative
I still
1,648,
fucking 15 viewers.
negative 1,649, negative 1,650, negative 1,651, negative 1,652, negative 1,653, negative 1,654, negative 1,655, negative 1,656, negative 1,657,
fermented pickle slices.
negative 1,658,
Patty.
negative 1,659, 1,660, negative 1,660, negative 1,661, 1,663, 1,664, 1,665, 1,665, 66, negative 1,667, negative 1,668, negative 1,669, negative 1,670, negative 1,671, negative 1,672, negative 1,670, negative 1,674, negative 1,675, negative 1,676, negative 1,677, negative 1,678, negative 1,679, negative 1,680, negative 1,681, negative 1,682, negative 1,683, negative 1,684, negative 1,685, negative 1,686, negative 1,000, negative 1,687, negative 1,688, negative 1,689, 1,690, negative 1,690, negative 1,100, negative 1,100, negative 1,691, negative 1,692, negative 1,693, negative 1,693, negative 1,694, negative 1,695, negative 1,696, 1,697, 1,698, 1,699, 1,700, negative 1,000, negative 1,690, negative 1,691, negative 1,690, negative 1,693, negative 1,694, negative 1,695, negative 1,696, negative 1,697, negative 6,000, negative 1,697, negative 1,698, negative 1,699, negative 1,700, negative 1,701, negative 1,702, negative 1,703, negative 1,704, negative 1,705, negative 1,706, negative 1,707, negative 1,708, negative 1,709, negative 1,710, negative 1,711, negative 1,712, negative 1,713, negative 1,714, negative 1,715, negative 1,716, negative 1,717, negative 1,718, negative 1,719, negative 1,720, negative 1,721, negative 1,722, negative 1,723, negative 1,724, negative 1,725, negative 1,726, negative 1,727, negative 1,728, negative 1,729, negative 1,730, negative 1,731, negative 1,732, negative 1,733, negative 1,734, negative 1,735, negative 1,736, negative 1,737, negative 1,738, negative 1,739, negative 1,740, negative 1,741, negative 1,742, negative 1,743, negative 1,744, negative 1,745, negative 1,746, negative 1,747, negative 1,748, negative 1,749, negative 1,750, negative 1,751, negative 1,752, negative 1,753, negative 1,754, negative 1,755, negative 1,756, negative 1,757, negative 1,758, negative 1,759, negative 1,760, negative 1,761, negative 1,762, negative 1,763, negative 1,764, negative 1,765, negative 1,766, negative 1,767, negative 1,768, negative 1,769, negative 1,770, negative 1,771, negative 1,772, negative 1,773, negative 1,774, negative 1,775, negative 1,776, negative 1,777, negative 1,778, negative 1,779, negative 1,780, negative 1,781, negative 1,782, negative 1,783,
Hearthstone.
negative 1,784, negative 1,785, negative 1,786, negative 1,787, negative 1,788, negative 1,789, negative 1,790, negative 1,791, negative 1,792, negative 1,793, negative 1,794, negative 1,795, negative 1,796, negative 1,797, negative 1,798, negative 1,799, negative 1,800, negative 1,801, negative 1,802,
Oof, I'm at 2 viewers
negative
now.
1,803,
Everyone just left.
negative 1,804, negative 1,805, negative 1,806, negative 8,001, 1,807, negative 1,807, negative 1,808, negative 1,809, negative 1,810, negative 1,811, negative 118, 1,811, negative 1,812, negative 1,813, negative 1,814, negative 1,815, negative 1,816, negative 1,817. Negative 1,818. Negative 1,819. Negative 1,820. Negative 1,821. Negative 1,821. Negative 1,822. Negative 1,823. Negative 1,824. Negative 1,825. Negative 1,826. Negative 1,827. Negative 1,828. Negative 1,829. Negative 1,830. Negative 1,831. Negative 1,832. Negative 1,833. Negative 1,834. Negative 1,835. Negative 1,836. Negative 1,837. Negative 1,838. Negative 1,839. Negative 1,840. Negative 1,841. Negative 1,842. Negative 1,843. Negative 1,844. Negative 1,845. Negative 1,846. Negative 1,847. Negative 1,848. Negative 1,849. Negative 1,850. Negative 1,851. Negative 1,852. Negative 1,853. Negative 1,854. Negative 1,855. Negative 1,856. Negative 1,857. Negative 1,858. Negative 1,859. Negative 1,860. Negative 1,861. Negative 1,862. Negative 1,863. Negative 1,864. Negative 1,865. Negative 1,866. Negative 1,867. Negative 1,868. Negative 1,869. Negative 1,870. Negative 1,871. Negative 1,872. Negative 1,873. Negative 1,874. Negative 1,875. Negative 1,876. Negative 1,877. Negative 1,878. Negative 1,879. Negative 1,880. Negative 1,881. Negative 1,882. Negative 1,883. Negative 1,884. Negative 1,885. Negative 1,886. Negative 1,887. Negative 1,888. Negative 1,889.
Is that gonna go
Negative
all night?
1,890. Negative 1,891.
Why are you counting on that?
Negative 1,892. Negative 1,893. Negative 1,894. Negative 1,895. Negative 1,896. Negative 1,897. Negative 1,898. Negative 1,999. Negative 1,900. Negative 1,901. Negative 1,902. Negative 1,903. Negative 1,904. Negative 1,905. Negative 1,906. Negative 1,907. Negative 1,908. Negative 1,909. Negative 1,910. Negative 1,911. Negative 1,912. Negative 1,913. negative 1,914, negative 1,915, negative 1,916, negative 1,917, negative 1,918, negative 1,919, negative 1,920, negative 1,921, negative 1,922, negative 1,923, negative 1,924, negative 1,925, negative 1,926, negative 1,927, negative 1,928, negative 1,929, negative 1,930, negative 1,931, negative 1,932, negative 1,933, negative 1,934, negative 1,935, negative 1,936, negative 1,937, negative 1,938, negative 1,939, negative 1,940, negative 1,941, negative 1,942, negative 1,943, negative 1,944, negative 1,945, negative 1,946, negative 1,947, negative 1,948, negative 1,949, negative 1,950, negative 1,951, negative 1,952, negative 1,953, negative 1,954, negative 1,955, negative 1,956, negative 1,957, negative 1,958, negative 1,959, negative 1,960, negative 1,961, negative 1,962, negative 1,963, negative 1,964, negative 1,965, negative 1,966, negative 1,967, negative 1,968, negative 1,969, negative 1,970, negative 1,971, negative 1,972, negative 1,973, negative 1,974, negative 1,975, negative 1,976, negative 1,977, negative 1,978, negative 1,979, negative 1,980, negative 1,981, negative 1,982, negative 1,983, negative 1,984, negative 1,985, negative 1,986, negative 1,987, negative 1,988, negative 1,989, negative 1,990, negative 1,991, negative 1,001, negative 1,992, negative 1,993, negative 1,994, negative 1,995, negative 1,996, negative 1,997, negative 1,998, negative 1,999, 2,000, 2001, 2002, 2003,
Congrats
2004, 2005,
I'm so proud
2006, 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025, 2026, 2027, 2028, 2029, 2030, 2031, 2032, 2033, 2034, 2035, 2036, 2037, 2038, 2039, 2040, 2041, 2042, 2043, 2044, 2045, 2046, 2047, 2048, 2049, 2050, 2051, 2052, 2053, 2054, 2055, 2056, 2057, 2058, 2059, 2060, 2061, 2062, 2063, 2064, 2065, 2066, 2067, wait, negative 2000, negative 2001, negative 2002, negative 2003, negative 2004, negative 2005, negative 2006, negative 2007, negative 2008, negative 2009, negative 2010, negative 2011, negative 2012, negative 2013, negative 2014, negative 2015, negative 2016, negative 2017, negative 2018, negative 2019, negative 2020,
It's been 1.5 hours.
negative 2021, negative 2022, negative 2023, negative 2024, negative 2025, negative 2026, negative 2027, negative 2028, negative 2029, negative 2030, negative 2031, negative 2032, negative 2033, negative 2034, negative 2035, negative 2036, negative 2037, negative 2038, negative 2039, negative 2040, negative 2041, negative 2042, negative 2043, negative 2044, negative 2045, negative 2046, negative 2047, negative 4000, negative 2047, negative 2048, negative 2049, negative 2050, negative 2051,
I sent it.
negative 2052, negative 2053, negative 2054,
Grew up a little.
negative 2055, negative 2056, negative 2057, negative 2058, negative 2059, negative 2060, negative 2061, negative 2062, negative 2063, negative 2064, negative 2065, negative 2066, negative 2067, negative 2068, negative 2069, 2000, negative 2070, negative 2071, negative 2072, negative 2073, negative 2074, negative 2075, negative 2076, and negative 2777, negative 2077, negative 2078, negative 2079, negative 2080, negative 2081, negative 2082, negative 2083, negative 2084, negative 2085, negative 2086, negative 2087, negative 2088, negative 2089, negative 2090, negative 2091, negative 2092, negative 2093, negative 2094, negative 2095, negative 2996, negative 2997, negative 2990, negative 2098, negative 2099, negative 2100, negative 2101, negative 2102, negative 2103, negative 2104, negative 2105, negative 1206, negative 1207, negative 1208, negative 2107, negative 2108, negative 2109, negative 2110, negative 2111, negative 2112, negative 2113, negative 2114, negative 2115, negative 2116, negative 2117, negative 2118, negative 2119, negative 2120, negative 2121, negative 2122, negative 2123, negative 2124, negative 2125,
Okay, now I'm gonna go to tomorrow.
negative 2126, negative 2127, negative 2128, negative 2129, negative 2130, negative 2131, negative 2132,
Wait, what, Max,
negative
what's that heart thing on the top right? You should
2133,
click it.
negative
Also, you
2134,
should click that arrow
negative
thing, that top thing.
2135,
Just click it.
negative
Click the top middle arrow thing.
2136, negative 2137, negative
Click the arrow,
2138,
middle arrow thing.
negative 2139,
Click it.
negative
Let's see.
2140, negative 2141, 40, negative 2140, negative 2141, negative 2142, negative 2143, negative 2144, negative 2145, 2146, 2000, negative 2145, negative 2146, negative 2147, negative 2148, negative 2149, negative 2150, negative 2151, negative 2152, negative 2153, negative 2151, negative 2153, negative 2154, negative 2155, negative 2156,
Yeah, I'll stay.
negative 2157, negative 2158, negative 2159, negative 2160, negative 2161, negative 2162, negative 2163, negative 2164, negative 2165, negative 2166, negative 2167, negative 2168, negative 2169, negative 2170, negative 2171,
You know, Max, I'm gonna get
negative
off now, see ya.
2172, negative 2173, negative 2172, negative 2173,
I'm staying.
negative 2174, negative 2175, Negative 2,176.
I'm gonna go to sleep.
Negative 2,177.
Should I put
Negative
my speaker and just go to
2,178.
sleep listening to
Negative 2,179.
you? Wait, actually,
Negative
I have a USB
2,180.
extender, and my freaking headphones
Negative
are USB.
2,181.
Like extend my headphones
Negative
to our bed
2,182.
So I can listen to you. while I
Negative
sleep.
2,183.
Whoa, I'm still doing that.
Negative 2,184.
Wait, actually, my headphones are long enough.
Negative
Wait, I'm still on
2,185.
my bed.
Negative 2,186. Negative 2,187.
I'm on my bed right now.
Negative
buddy.
2,188. Negative 2,189. Negative 2,190. Negative 2,191. Negative 2,192.
Take my glasses off.
Negative 2,193. Negative 2,194.
This is
Negative
comfortable.
2,195. Negative 2,196. Negative 2,197. Negative 2,198. Negative 2,199. Negative 2,200. Negative 2,201. Negative 2,202. Negative 2,203. Negative 2,204. Negative 2,205. Negative 2,206. Negative 2,207. Negative 2,208. Negative 2,209. Negative 2,210. Negative 2,211. Negative 2,212. Negative 2,213. Negative 2,214. Negative 2,215. Negative 2,216. Negative 2,217. Negative 2,218. Negative 2,219. Negative 2,220. Negative 2,221. Negative 2,222. Negative 2,223. Negative 2,224. Negative 2,225. Negative 2,226. Negative 2,227. Negative 2,028. Negative 2,029. 226. 9. Negative 2,230. Negative 2,231. Negative 2,232. Negative 2,233. Negative 2,234. Negative 2,235. Negative 2,236. Negative 2,237. Negative 2,238. Negative 2,239. Negative 2,240. Negative 2,241. Negative 2,242. Negative 2,243. Negative 2,244. Negative 2,245. Negative 2,246. Negative 2,247. Negative 2,248. Negative 2,249. Negative 2,250. Negative 2,251. Negative 2,252. Negative 2,253. Negative 2,254. Negative 2,255. Negative 2,256. Negative 2,257. Negative 2,258. Negative 2,259. Negative 2,260. Negative 2,261. Negative 2,262. Negative 2,263. Negative 2,264. Negative 2,265. Negative 2,266. Negative 2,267. Negative 2,268. Negative 2,269. Negative 2,270. Negative 2,271. Negative 2,272. negative 2,273, negative 2,274, negative 2,275, negative 2,276, negative 2,277, negative 2,278, negative 2,279, negative 2,280, negative 2,281, negative 2,282, negative 2,283, negative 2,284, negative 2,285, negative 2,286, negative 2,287, negative 2,288, negative 2,289, negative 2,290, negative 2,291, negative 2,292, negative 2,293, negative 2,294, negative 2,295, negative 2,296, negative 2,297, negative 2,298, negative 2,299, negative 2,300, negative 2,301, negative 2,302, negative 2,303, negative 2,304, negative 2,305, negative 2,306, negative 2,307, negative 2,308, negative 2,309, negative 2,310, negative 311, negative 2,312, negative 2,313, negative 2,314,
I'm coming back on my chair.
negative 2,315, negative 2,316,
What do you mean
negative
WWE?
2,317, negative 2,318, negative 2,319, negative 2,320, negative 2,321, negative
That's a pretty cool profile picture.
2,322, negative 2,200, 300, negative 2,323, negative 2,324, negative 2,325, negative 2,326, negative 2,327, negative 2,328, negative 2,329, negative 2,030, negative 2,331, negative 2,330, negative 2,331, negative 2,331, negative 2,332, negative 2,333, negative 2,334, negative 2,335, negative 2,336, negative 2,337, negative 2,338, negative 2,339, negative 2,340, negative 2,341, negative 2,342, negative 2,343, negative 2,344, negative 2,345, negative 2,346, negative 2,347, negative 2,348, negative 2,349, negative 2,350, negative 2,351, negative 2,352, negative 2,353, negative 2,354, negative 2,355, negative 2,356, negative 2,357, negative 2,358, negative 2,359, negative 2,360, negative 2,361, negative 2,362, negative 2,363, negative 2,364, negative 2,365, negative 2,366, negative 2,367, negative 2,368, negative 2,369, negative 2,370, negative 2,371, negative 2,372, negative 2,373, negative 2,374, negative 2,375, negative 2,376, negative 2,377, negative 2,378, negative 2,377, negative 2,378, negative 2,379, negative 2,380,
I sent it to your PC account.
negative 2,381, negative 2,382, negative 2,383, negative 2,384, negative 2,385, negative 2,386, negative 2,387, negative 2,388, negative 2,389, negative 2,389, negative 2,390, negative 2,391, negative 2,392, negative 2,393, negative 2,394, negative 2,395, negative 2,396, negative 2,397, negative 2,398, negative 2,399, negative 2,400, negative 2,401, negative 2,402, negative 2,403, negative 2,404, negative 2,405, negative 2,406, negative 2,407, negative 2,408, negative 2,409, negative 2,410, negative 2,411, negative 2,412, negative 2,413, negative 2,414, negative 2,415, negative 2,416, negative 2,417, negative 2,418, negative 2,419, negative 2,420, negative 2,421, negative 2,422, negative 2,423, negative 2,424, negative 2,425, negative 2,426, negative 2,427, negative 2,428, negative 2,429, negative 2,430, negative 2,431, negative 2,432, negative 2,433, negative 2,434, negative 2,435, negative 2,436, negative 2,437, negative 2,438, negative 2,439, negative 2,440, negative 2,441, negative 2,442, negative 2,443, negative 2,444, negative 2,445,
Max, click the
negative
link in Discord.
2,446, negative 2,447, negative
Let's go back to-
2,248, negative 2,449, negative 2,450, negative 2,451, negative 2,452, negative 2,453, negative 2,454, negative 2,455, negative 2,456, negative 2,457, negative 2,458, negative 2,459, negative 2,460, negative 2,461, negative 2,462, negative 2,463, negative 2,464, negative 2,464, negative 2,465, negative 2,466, negative 2,467, negative 2,468, negative 2,469, 2,400, negative 2,470, negative 2,471, negative 2,472,
You
negative
counted
2,473,
in the past half an hour.
negative 2,474, negative
you've been doing this for almost 2 hours now.
2,475, negative 2,476, negative 2,047, negative 2,477, negative 2,478,
What?
negative 2,479, negative 2,480,
You've counted 400 numbers in the past half an hour.
negative 2,481,
Almost at 2 hours.
2,482, 2,483, 2,484, 2,800, 2,485, 2,486, 2,487, 2,488, 2,489, 2,490, 2,491, 2,492, 2,493, 2,494, 2,495, 2,496, 2,497, 2,904, 2,000, negative 2,491, negative 2,492, negative 2,493, negative 2,494, negative 2,495, negative 2,496, negative 2,497, negative 2,498, negative 2,499, negative 2,500, negative 2,501, negative 2,502, negative 2,503, negative 2,504, negative 2,505, negative 2,506, negative 2,507, negative 2,508, negative 2,509, negative 2,510, negative 2,511, negative 2,512, negative 2,513, negative 2,514, negative 2,515, negative 2,516, negative 2,516, negative 2,516, negative 2,517,
Let's play tic-tac-toe.
negative 2,517,
Go with discourse.
negative 2,518, negative 2,419, negative 2,519, negative 2,520, negative 2,521, negative 2,592, negative 2,523, negative 2,524, negative 2,525, negative 2,526,
I'm gonna animate something.
negative
for you right now.
2,527,
I'm gonna
negative
go animate
2,528,
something. Well, you count.
negative 2,528,
What should I?
Negative 2,529. Negative 2,530. Negative 2,531. Negative 2,532. Negative 2,533. Negative 2,534. Negative 2,535. Negative 2,536. Negative 2,537. Negative 2,538. Negative 2,539. Negative 2,540. Negative 2,541. Negative 2,542. Negative 2,543. 2,544.
Okay.
2,545.
Max, the autistic journey.
2,546. 2,547. 2,548. 2,549. 2,500. Negative 2,540. Negative 2,541. Negative 2,542. Negative 2,553. 43. Negative 2,543. Negative 2,544. Negative 2,545. Negative 2,546. Negative 2,547. Negative 2,548. Negative 2,549. Negative 2,550. Negative 2,551. Negative 2,553. Negative 2,554. Negative 2,555. Negative 2,556. Negative 2,557. Negative 2,558. Negative 2,559. Negative 2,559. Negative 2,560. Negative 2,561. Negative 2,562. Negative 2,563. Negative 2,564. Negative 2,565. 2,566. 2,560. Negative 2,550. Negative 2,560, negative 2,561, negative 2,562, negative 2,563, negative 2,564, negative 2,565, negative 2,566, negative 2,567, negative 2,568, negative 2,569, negative 2,570, negative 2,571, negative 2,572, negative 2,573, negative 2,574, negative 2,575, negative 2,576, negative 2,577, negative 2,578, negative 2,579, negative 2,580, negative 2,581, negative 2,582, negative 2,583, negative 2,584, negative 2,585, negative 2,586, negative 2,587, negative 2,588, negative 2,589, negative 2,590, negative 2,591, negative 2,592, negative 2,593, negative 2,594, 2,590, negative 2,595, negative 2,596, negative 2,597, 2,598, negative 2,597, negative 2,598, negative 2,599, negative 2,600, negative 2,601, negative 2,602, negative 2,603, negative 2,604, negative 2,605, negative 2,606, negative 2,607.
He's gonna go for 5,000.
Nah, I'm quitting. Oof. I ruined it. I'm sorry.
Oof.
Dude, I couldn't do that anymore. My throat hurts so much. Dude, my throat actually burns. Oh my god, oh my god.
2 hours,
Dude,
5
I'm so
minutes.
confused now. I feel like nothing happened in that past time. Dude, literally,
2 hours.
honestly. Okay, Brendan, listen.
I stopped streaming.
Okay, I'm just gonna wrap up the video. Okay, so if you like new to past time, actually do that. I did not remember any of the past 2 hours.
Hey, Max.
Okay, I went on for 2 hours. Like, look at the time. That was 2 hours.
you
So I
know,
think that's a
25
good
minutes.
mark, like 2 hours. I was gonna try and hit 5,000 for like the milestone, but I guess 2 hours is awesome, like time wise. But yeah.
Hey, Max. 20, 19,
No, shut the hell up. We're not doing that right now. Okay, stop right now. Actually,
16, 15.
Brendan.